Welcome to the Undercurrent, your source for grassroots news. I'm Lauren Windsor. On Thursday, October 23rd, I went to a local Chamber of Commerce meeting in Iowa to talk to Joni Ernst, the Republican candidate for U.S. Senate, about her support for the Koch brothers' agenda, which emphasizes extreme cuts to government spending. So I asked her about Social Security and Medicare, which she has advocated privatizing, and about which agencies she would eliminate from the federal budget. Ernst admitted that privatization is an option on the table, but was unresponsive as to particular agencies. You already talked earlier about the question of eliminating the Department of Education, streamlining agencies, privatizing Social Security and Medicare.
That has been an option. I have not endorsed that, by the way.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, if you care to elaborate that or name any other specific cuts that you would make, like eliminating agencies.
There are savings that can be found all across the departments out there. So that's important.
Agreed. The second part of my question, though, I apologize. Certainly. The Ernst agenda is clearly aligned with the Koch brothers' ideology. And as you probably remember from my earlier reporting, she attended the Koch retreat in June and spoke on a candidate panel crediting the network with starting her trajectory in politics.
The first time I was introduced to the group was a year ago, August, in New Mexico, and I was not known at that time. Little known state senator from a very rural part of Iowa, known through my National Guard service and some circles in Iowa. But the exposure to this group and to this network and the opportunity to meet so many of you, that really started my trajectory, and it started a very strong victory that we progressively built upon throughout the campaign cycle. So it was really the folks in this room that got my start.
The candidate was effusive in her praise for the Koch network and various leaders of their organizations like Aegis, Americans for Prosperity, and Freedom Partners Return the Love.
As Mark and Tim showed earlier, you've seen a pretty dramatic shift in the 2014 political landscape. I think it's fair to say you've exceeded everyone's expectations, really going from a little-known person with little name recognition to winning your primary by a landslide.
The purpose of Ernst's panel was to pitch donors whom they called investors on each of the candidates. The activities of Koch-funded groups were explicitly discussed, including the massive spending on ad buys.
I think a lot of candidates are facing funding out. But how are third-party groups in this network particularly that are focused on issue education and out mobilizing voters, how are they making a big difference?
They want to continue to go around in this country running October-style campaign ads in May, June, July, and August. If you look at my race alone, they have already dumped about 5,000 points, TV points, against us in negative advertising. Prosperity has played a critical role in turning our state from a one-party democratic state to a public state. Building the kind of constant engagement that people want to stay involved in their communities. People who were not involved became voters in 2010 and became activists in 2012, and now they're running for the county commission in Arkansas or the state house or the state senate. It's that kind of sustained, continuous organization that third-party groups really can help promote, because they have a life beyond each election cycle, where it's Koch for Senate or Ernst for Senate or Gardner for Senate is focused on that one-day sale on November 4th.
So as we look long-term, we can't disengage in any of this stage. We have to stay active, because actions in these elections today set up future victories at many different levels. So I would encourage everyone to simply stay engaged.
Despite this clear history of close association, when asked about the flood of negative advertising in Iowa, Joni Ernst claimed to this group of Des Moines businessmen that she has no contact with third-party groups running ads in her race.
We are headed upwards. And I see what he's done is just driven our nation into the ground. And so when I'm talking through ads, I'm going to stay positive. I can't control the outside groups with the independent expenditures. You know, I don't have contact with them.
Bottom line, Joni Ernst just told a whopper. We know that she had contact with various organizations in the Koch network just this past June. According to OpenSecrets.org, Americans for Prosperity has spent nearly $250,000 in her race, and Freedom Partners Action Fund has spent over $3 million. Both organizations have spent heavily on negative advertising. Make sure to subscribe to The Undercurrent on YouTube to get more grassroots investigative journalism just like this. I'm Lauren Windsor. Thanks for watching. Get pulled in to The Undercurrent.
Undercurrent under the surface makes the mainstream get so nervous. It's time for purpose, for news to serve us, not with propaganda they use to hurt